Taking charge of growing your own food, taking that into your hand and owning it is an incredibly powerful feat. Guten Yardening, everybody! January is a month where we think about the year ahead and begin setting our goals for the coming growing seasons. So in this video, we'd like you to join us as we share an innovative method for goal setting. Now, I first learned about the concept of SMART goals 10 years ago when I was asked to begin formulating what student success and teaching success would look like through this lens. There are a lot of different words that people use to define the acronym SMART when it comes to this concept of SMART goals, but I'm going to use the ones that I've been using for the past 10 years. A SMART goal is one that is specific, measurable, actionable, reasonable, and time specific. Now, in recent years, as I'm sure you might imagine, SMART goals have been transformed into smarter goals and smartest goals. And our purpose in this video is to share these concepts with you and talk about how we're learning to use them in our own gardening goal setting. I think I first need to talk about SMART goals in order to understand or get to our conversation about smarter and smartest goals a little later on. So my initial introduction to this concept was in the field of education, as I mentioned earlier. As an English teacher, goal setting for my students is important. For example, I want my students to be better writers. I mean, that's one of our overarching English goals. But if I simply say, my goal is to make students better writers, that concept easily becomes overwhelming. Because what do those words even mean? If I can't define what a better writer is, or the skill of writing that I want to focus on, then how can I prove that they've become better writers, or that I even have the means to get them there? So what I need is a SMART goal that I can check in on to see if I'm actually making the improvements that I'm suggesting the students need. Now, a SMART goal might look something like this. 80% of my students will be able to write a standard paragraph that contains 2 or fewer grammatical errors by the end of the first semester. Now, I won't spend too much time on this goal because our focus is going to be on gardening, but what you should see here is that this goal is specific to the skill I want my students to learn. I've given myself a measurable percentage of students and a way to measure that success in the writing. I have actionable steps that I can complete now that I know what I want from my students. Based on what they should know coming into my class, this is certainly a reasonable goal, and I've clearly laid out a timeline for this to be accomplished. Smarter goals bear a great deal of similarity to SMART goals, sharing the same meaning in the initial part of the acronym, but with the addition of 2 terms. These are evaluated and revised. And smartest goals bear the same resemblance, but with the addition of 3 terms: educational, significant, and toward. What I'd like to do is to give you an example of a gardening goal, one that we have, and talk about how it works in each of the SMART, smarter, and smartest goal styles to give you an idea of how this could potentially benefit you. Now, we've talked about it before, but winging it with gardening, especially if you only have a vague idea of an end point of what you hope to accomplish, is likely going to result in time wasting, frustration, and inefficiency. I can speak from experience. In the past, we've had general goals, but I can say I have not written them out as explicitly as I would like to. So again, our purpose today is to share with you a strategy that we think will potentially bring about real, measurable, positive changes in our gardening experience, and hopefully yours, and even beyond that. Part of the beauty of the SMART, smarter, and smartest goal templates is that they can be applied to any field, pun intended, as far as we have found. And as we get into this part of the video, I want you to think about one area in your gardening experience that needs improvement. And we're going to do the same thing with you. Gardening and homesteading goals in general can easily become overwhelming if what we want to say is, I want to be a better gardener, or I want to grow more food. Because really, what does that mean? What does that look like? To say, I want to get better at something without having a direction to move in makes the likelihood of improvement, I would argue, smaller. So let's look at this from our framework. I can tell you that one of our goals is to become self-sufficient when it comes to all of our food. However, that goal requires multiple smaller steps for us because self-sufficiency includes so many different pieces. It includes vegetables, fruits, meat, cooking ingredients, and more. That's a huge list, and we are definitely not there yet. There are pieces of this puzzle I would say we haven't even started on yet. So what I want to do is to pick one part of this move towards self-sufficiency that I can break down into pieces. Let's say, for example, that we want our family to eat a full serving of vegetables for at least 2 meals every day during the school year. Now that's a time when often their lunch is provided at school. In order for us to be self-sufficient with vegetables at this level or to this degree, I have to calculate the number of people in my family, the number of meals that this means, and then work backwards from there to get to the amount of vegetables I need during the school year. Now, I know that sounds like a lot of work, and actually I think this process does involve a pretty good amount of initial legwork to prepare a good goal, but let's say that knowing what we need, we set up this goal. We will grow the vegetables on our property that will feed our family a full serving of vegetables for 2 meals per day throughout the 2022-23 school year, and we will do this by the end of 2022, by the end of that growing season. How does this goal fit our frameworks? Well, this goal is specific to our needs, which would be organic vegetables for our entire family. It is measurable, occurring at 2 meals per day throughout the school year. It is actionable. We have to plant, we have to grow everything we need. We can make that action happen. It is reasonable. We came pretty close last year to growing all of our own vegetables, and so that means we should be able to reach this goal if we can plan backwards from our endpoint and get to what we actually need to plant. And it's definitely time specific. We're giving ourselves 1 year. So that's a SMART goal. If we move to a smarter goal template, then what we're able to add to this goal is the need for it to be evaluated throughout and at the end of the time frame that we've created, and then adjusted accordingly to our success or opportunities for improvement. We can evaluate this goal easily by determining if we purchased any vegetables during this time, and if we were able to provide 2 servings of veggies per day per child or per family member. And we can revise this goal depending on our needs. And those needs can change at any time. If you are monitoring a goal like this along the way, you can even adjust the goal midstream as needed. And I would say this is especially true if you're overachieving in your goal and you want to strengthen that goal or challenge yourself more. Now, this is such a valuable tool that can lead to a progression in goals in various areas of your gardening experience. But we think that the smartest goal template is the one that best fits for us. And to be honest, it's the one that we are most excited about sharing. The EST in Smartists are acronyms for educational, significant, and toward. This is where we see such a profound potential fit for us. A smartest goal should be educational. Well, one of the primary goals we have as gardeners is to learn and then to share what we're learning with our children and with our community, and our goals with gardening are inherently educational in that way. We're setting goals that enable us to learn best gardening practices. They require us to study and learn more about gardening in order to be more efficient and productive. And when we say we want to grow a specific amount of produce, we have to know how to do it, how much time it takes, how much money it takes, and the end result is we have to become more educated on the topic that we care immensely about. The significance of this goal is clear to us. We want to provide the best vegetables for our family and live with a healthier diet. And I'm not sure if there's anything more significant than maintaining your health, which is what these specific goals will provide for us. Finally, the idea of toward. This means toward some larger goal or purpose, toward what motivates us, toward what keeps us engaged in moving forward to gain complete food self-sufficiency. This pushes us from a fixed mindset of always being in one place with one level of ability toward the growth mindset that we want, where we're focusing on what we can learn and how we can change and improve as gardeners. You know, as long as your smart, smarter, or smartest goals fit the format of what we've talked about today, they can be as focused as you need, from growing one single vegetable for the first time to never buying another bite of food from the store ever again. We are so excited to share this type of goal setting, as we are confident that if we take the time to create and write out our goals, we will be far more likely to have a clear vision of what we truly want in our experience and be far more successful as well. Now, we are just scratching the surface of this type of goal setting, and we can definitely provide more content on this. If it's something you're interested in, please let us know in the comments which goals you'd like to hear more about, or if there's a specific type of goal setting you'd like to learn more about, and we will try our best to create that content. Now, we hope you enjoyed this video. We were so excited to share this with you, not because it's brand new, but because for us it's innovative in our thought process and in our approach toward gardening. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to give us a like, leave us a comment, remember to share and subscribe, and most importantly, remember, when you're with us, you are good to grow.